guys, in today's video we're going to show you why you should have a 3D scanner in your toolbox.
Holy mackerel, that's cool!
This is my 1995 Camaro, and it is currently the fastest project that we have here on the Nivlac 57 YouTube channel. And for a good while, we've been running this car with a Vortec 4200 and a big old Bullseye 88mm turbo. And we've had some decent results, but I feel like we could take more advantage of the air that is running over the car and direct it into the turbo. And therefore today I want to make an air duct. As you can see, it's already done, but we're gonna go back in time and show you how we got here. So let's get to it. All right, so here's the problem statement. I want to be able to direct air into the turbo more effectively than just having an open hole here where the air could go past it or over it, or down and into places where I don't want it to be. So I made this thing right here. This was my first attempt at an air duct going into the turbo. Now what you're going to notice with this thing is it doesn't really line up very well, and that's because I was using some pretty crude methods to make this thing. You can see that it is offset to the side quite a bit here. Doesn't even come close to lining up with the turbo, and that's because I've used the method I've always used, and that's using tape measures and taking pictures at different angles and trying to load that into my CAD program to try and figure out where things are in space. The problem is when you do that, you get results like what I just showed you. Now with this solution right here, we still haven't figured out how we're going to mount it to the car either. That would probably require a few more test prints, and this is about a week's worth of print time on my printer and about $30 in material. This is a very crude way of doing stuff. It's like trying to measure the bearing clearance in your engine with a tape measure. It's just not the right tool for the job, it's not nearly precise enough, and we need to employ something else. What we really need is some way to measure all of the 3D sort of topography or geometry of the car and locate it in space and be able to import that into our computer somehow. Enter the 3D scanner. Now this little guy packs a big punch. This is an Einstar Rockit 3D scanner. This is the hobbyist grade 3D scanner from the guys over at Einstar. Frankly, I'd love to see their professional stuff because if it can get better than this, I'm gonna be blown away. So let's get to scanning. Naturally, the first thing that we scanned was a turbo. I just kind of wanted to practice and get a feel for how the scanner worked. The only issue I had with the 3D scanner itself was actually the cable that hooks to the PC. You need to have a very specific cable that goes to your PC. I recommend you use the one that comes with the 3D printer, which of course I didn't do my first time. You have to go through a calibration procedure, and then you're off to the races. I was blown away with how much detail there was on the scan, and I definitely learned a few things by practicing, like maybe add a few more trackers next time. Before we get too much further into this, I should probably tell you how this thing works. Basically, it shoots lasers at the car, and based on the timing of those lasers being sent out to when they're received back, it is able to pinpoint the location of an object in space, kind of like sonar, but with light. Now, it has a couple of different ways it can shoot lasers out of this thing. It has an infrared mode. This is safe for scanning people or animals, but the other way that is a little bit more accurate is their laser scanning method. Now, for this method of scanning, you should probably get yourself a pair of these. These are a pair of safety glasses meant to protect your eyes from the lasers that come out of the 3D scanner. Frankly, the first couple of scans that I did not have a pair of these, and I should have. But anyhow, let's move on. Now, with a 3D scanner like this, you gotta be careful to not move the thing too fast or move it off the object that you're scanning because it can lose track of where it's at. Now, there's also a couple different ways you can handle the tracking with this thing. One of them is to basically use the feature that you're scanning, and it will analyze the geometry and try to keep track of where it is. It helps if the object has sort of an irregular shape, because if it's a cylinder and it is on the one side or the other side, it won't know the difference. The best way to handle the tracking with a 3D scanner is with these little dots right here. Oddly enough, these are called trackers. And that's why you see a lot of times on things that are being 3D scanned, a whole bunch of these little white dots all over them. These are not just like little paint dots, they're actually very reflective. They're almost like road signs, like you see on the side of the road, where at night they reflect the light better so that you can see them. Same idea with your 3D scanner. It's very reflective, very easy for it to pick up where they are. This is the way that you should be doing your scans, so definitely go with this method. So now that I've explained how it works and we've done our first scan, let's get into actually scanning the red car and building that air duct.
Are they GPS trackers?
No, okay, we got to put all these stickers all over the car. They're tracker, or
Kind of trackers.
so like, it's so the 3D scanner can like remember where it is. So we just gotta stick them.
Do I have to do this with this one?
Yeah,
Wow.
just put them all
That's
over.
all, how are you going to get them off?
These are just stickers. Not over there, over here. I'm scanning over here.
Oh,
This area.
okay.
So like this fender, this part,
How
This
about
part.
here?
and a little sleeve here, put like one there. Because I need to scan all this. It'll hurt your eyes.
Buy a t-shirt.
Oh.
See?
Okay, get some video of the camera or the computer screen too. And kind of pan between the two. There's the fender. Isn't that cool?
It is really cool.
Now, based on the videos I've seen in the past on 3D scanning, I was under the impression that it would not really be able to handle the glossy surfaces of the fenders of the car. I decided to just try it anyways and see what happened, because I read in the sales literature that that's something that they had been trying to improve in the past. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it did fine with the glossy surface, and I didn't really have to do anything special there. They actually sell this like spray to make it have more of a matte finish, but I didn't need it. To start the design process, I bought a 3D model of a 4th gen Camaro that you see right here, but I literally only used one component of the entire thing, and that is this piece right here. And that is the headlight lens. I then imported the scan and the headlight lens into a program called Blender. This program is more intended for like making 3D models for like video games, I think, but it's kind of the best program that I've found for doing stuff like this. Now, if you happen to be somebody who is experienced with this program in the comments, you're probably going to cringe at how I am doing a lot of this stuff. I'm not really experienced with this program. And I kind of just brute forced, made it work, and got it to do what I needed to do. And it took hours and hours in order to get the result that I did. Now, since we have a 3D scan of the car, I was able to integrate the mounts into the piece itself, and this saved on trying to figure that out after the fact. From here, it was onto the 3D printer, and it was time to see if all that work was going to pay off. Alright guys, fresh off the printer. You can see it came out pretty dang good. Now, those mounts that I integrated into the print, they look like they're about lined up. Also, I need to sand all of these barnacles down so that we can get the carbon fiber to stick over top of it. But next, let's get into that. So for the carbon fiber, I bought this stuff off of Amazon. Now, how carbon fiber works, it's very similar to fiberglass. You have your carbon weave It's actually rolled up inside this tube here. And then you have your epoxy resin. It looks like it's in two parts here. This is the hardener. Now I'm used to only having a little bit of hardener, but it almost looks like this is like a 50-50 ratio between the hardening and the actual resin itself. Now with carbon fiber like this, it's kind of a race against time. Once you start this chemical reaction with these two components here, you only have a certain amount of time to work with the material before it hardens. So what we need to do is we need to get the carbon fiber out, sort of lay it over the material that we plan to put it on, and get everything ready, situated, all, ready to go, so that when we start mixing this stuff up, it's apply, get the carbon fiber on there, and apply again as necessary. And you're not like sitting around like, oh crap, I forgot to get the paintbrush or whatever. Like, you got to make sure everything's ready, because as soon as you start this chemical reaction, there's no going back. So first, let's get all these barnacles sanded off of this thing, and then we can start our carbon fiber work. Now, I didn't show it in the design, but I made it so that you could use these heat set inserts in the actual print itself, and that is what will actually attach it to the car. These have a 1/4-20 thread in them, and I've used these in the past with great success. Once we lay the carbon fiber over top of them, we'll have to mine them back out, but this is a really clean way to add hardware to your 3D prints. Here are the results I was able to get with the Einstar Rockit 3D scanner. You can see that it lines up to the turbo a whole lot better, and we can see that I have my mounts already integrated into the print. So huge thanks to the guys over at Einstar. If you guys want to support the channel, you can hit our affiliate link. It is down in the description or the pinned comment, and you can use code Nivlac at checkout to get a $50 discount. So go get yourself a 3D scanner and do it right the first time. I was just thinking, and when I say this, I don't want to come across as boastful or arrogant, but we were able to do all of this work here without having a 3D scanner. And it's going to be really cool to see how we can level up our fabrication and design with having such a powerful tool like the Einstar Rockit 3D scanner. So I hope you guys are as excited about the future as I am. All right, on to the next thing. Now that we finished that little project with the red car, I felt like I didn't have enough experience with the scanner, so I just started scanning everything. Some of the stuff I can show you, some of the stuff I'm not ready to show you, but as I got more and more experience with it, I sort of learned the ins and outs of how to use this machine a little bit better. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I was concerned with the reflective surfaces of the Camaro causing issues with the scanner, and we didn't really see any issues with that. But as I used the scanner more, I found that if a surface was wet, it definitely had issues scanning that particular surface. Also, I saw issues with machine surfaces, and if you guys are doing scanning yourself, you may want to invest in something to sort of give it that matte finish. I've heard that like baby powder and alcohol mixed together is a really good way to do that. But I kind of just kept using the scanner for more and more stuff, and I was more and more impressed with it as time went on. Alright, yep. Holy mackerel, that's cool.
Look at that. Holy mackerel. And how does that work? Lasers. It's amazing how fast it does it.
It's amazing that it's connected to the computer through Wi-Fi, and it's able to transfer that amount of data in that amount of time. You know, because like, I'm holding the tool, and it's like, it feels alive to me. Like, where I put the thing is like live. You know, the amount of data that's being stream. It's just crazy. All right, this is the part that absolutely blows me away. Let's say I did my scanning, but I missed a spot or I needed to readjust and go to a new location. Well, it's as easy as picking up where you left off. So you basically go back to an area where you had scanned already and you hit the play button, and then it automatically figures out where you were so that you can continue scanning and pick up the area where you missed. And it's just incredible how seamless this is. Hey, look at how detailed this is. If you wanted to make a block-off plate to feed water into your water pump flange here, you could totally get very accurate holes on all of these points here and easily make a laser cut flange or what have you. I mean, this is a game changer. This is so next level. I am super happy to be able to play with this. Now, there's no reason you have to do a scan of an entire engine. I just scan the front frame section and sort of header area of my 57 so that I can develop a bracket to adapt a bracket to my North Star. Now, I'll admit we've kind of engineered ourselves into a hole with the North Star because I haven't really left a ton of room to mount the alternator. Luckily, the guys over at Chasing Speed sent us this reverse mount alternator kit for a LS, and we should be able to adapt this thing in order to fit onto the front of the North Star. Quick shout out to them. If you use code Nivlac57 at checkout, they'll give you a $57 discount and free shipping. But I took a quick little scan of this assembly right here, so let's go to the computer and show you what I'm thinking with that. By importing these two scans into my CAD software, I can mock the two up in situ and see if I have clearance to put the alternator in a variety of locations before I actually go to cutting anything or making modifications to anything. This is kind of what I'm thinking with the alternator kit right here. I'm going to just take a little bit of material off this bracket here, and it should line up with the pulley right here, and we should be able to use this mounting boss down in this location. It's a little hard to see, but yeah, we should be able to use this mounting boss right here and shave a little bit of material. I should be able to get my measurements in the CAD file and figure out what I need to do to modify it. But yeah, this is so powerful, guys. I am super happy with having this new tool to play with. It's definitely going to level up our builds. The only problem I have with the 3D scanner is I kind of got addicted to scanning stuff. Before I knew it, I had scanned 4 different engines, 2 different transmissions, and the entire front end of a car. But to see that, you're going to have to stay tuned to the Nivlac57 YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, like, comment, all the great stuff. And if you have any questions on this video, actually a great way to have those questions answered is to leave them in the comments down below. We usually address the questions for the latest video in our podcast, the Living Late podcast. I will leave a link up above that you can click to go and follow that channel as well. One last thing before we end off, I got to give a plug to the guys over at Snow Performance. We've been using their fuel system kit on the red Camaro that you saw earlier in this video. The thing has been performing amazingly, and I just wanted to plug our affiliate code for Snow Performance. It is Nivlac57. It will give you a 10% discount, and it helps to support the channel, so go check those guys out as well. All right, guys, see you in the next one.